This week I've heard a number of money experts giving their best advice and telling everyone they should be doing a budget. You might be very surprised to hear me say this, but this is terrible advice. Don't waste your time doing a budget. Budgets do not work. If you've ever done a budget, you already know there is a problem with budgets, but I'll bet you thought you were the problem, not the budget. Let me tell you something that may take a load off your mind. It was not you that was at fault when your budget failed. A budget is an almost useless document with maybe a 1 or 2% chance of it actually working. And my advice is do not waste your time doing a budget. If you're surprised to hear me say that, I totally understand. All the money experts tell us to do a budget at the start of every year, and any other time they get on their soapbox for that matter. So we accept that they must know what they're talking about. At some point in time though, we give it a try and it fails us. The part that frustrates me about this is that because these guys are the acknowledged experts, we think we must be the problem. We don't think for 1 minute that maybe the advice was dodgy. So I'm going to show you why budgets are so useless and give you an insight into what really does work and what you should be doing instead of a budget. Okay, so here is a budget in a typical format that most people would use. It has income at the top and then it has expenses below that. The expenses have been averaged down to the same cycle as the income so they can be compared. However, it's not the averaged amounts you need when these things happen. You need the actual amount the thing costs you. So here is a different list showing the actual amounts, when they're due to happen next and how often they happen. The figures in a budget have all been averaged, and in this particular example, as we go down, you can see that all the money is used up and the budget has been balanced. So all per pay amounts, all averaged down so that you compare the income with the expenses to see whether it works or not. However, it's totally useless information. It's not the averaged amounts that you need when these things happen. You need the actual amount the item costs you. Not only that, you need the full amount of money when it is due. An averaged amount totally misses the fact that you might need the money next week. Timing is totally not included in a budget. In this list, you can see that timing has been introduced because it shows dates and frequencies as well as the actual amounts needed. I want to show you two families who have this exact same budget that you see here. One will live happily ever after throughout the year ahead with no problems at all, and the other will spend the year in financial turmoil. What makes the difference? It's just one simple number, the amount they have in their bills account on day one. Family A has $4,000 at the start of the year. You can see that their entire year is green. Every balance is above zero. It all works. Family B have exactly the same expenses with exactly the same budget. But they have $1,000 in their account at the start of the year, and you can see that there are many times during the year when they are tearing their hair out and frustrated because they've run out of money, especially around the middle of the year when they are in total money stress. A budget never considers timing and when you actually need the money, so it fails miserably at doing what all the money experts tell us it is going to do for us. So why are they all telling us to do a budget? I have no idea. Maybe they just don't know any better. What you're looking at here is not a budget, but a spending plan. It factors in the timing of when you need to pay your bills and how much you need to pay at the time, rather than the averaged amount that a budget uses. Here you can see all of the transactions, the date they fall due, and the frequency they occur on. And this information is used to create the spending plan. Let me show you how much more powerful a spending plan is compared to a budget. I'll go back to Family A. The spending plan gives them targets to hit for every day of the year, so they'll be able to check on their progress throughout the year and make sure their plan is actually working. They have balances, almost like they have their bank statement in advance before it happens, listing all of the transactions, the dates they fall due on, and what their target bank balance is after each transaction has occurred. That's the first major advantage. Most of us have no idea how much money we should have in the bank on any given day, so we end up guessing if we can afford to buy or do something we're considering or not. The second major advantage is just amazing. Let's go to Family B and look at the same budget with a different start balance. Here is their spending plan showing what is going to happen before it happens. Now they can see the year before it begins and they can take action to fix it. Check this out. With 7 simple changes that will barely impact on what they were hoping to do throughout the year, I will totally fix this plan and give them a successful year to enjoy rather than the nightmare they would have had. So here we go. They've been avoiding using their credit card. I'll go to their account list. You can see that they do have a credit card, but they've been avoiding using it because it always blows up in their face when they do use it. However, with a plan, that won't happen if they stick to the plan. So I'm going to make 3 payments that they are making at the moment via electronic funds transfer, and I'm going to delay them by a month by putting them on the credit card. So those transactions, change number 1, move car insurance from the bills account to the credit card. Change number 2, I'll move the internet connection to the credit card. And change number 3, I'll move electricity to the credit card. So all 3 are now going to be paid basically a month later than they would have been. Let's have a look at the plan. It's a little better, but it still has a lot of red. But we've only used up 3 of our 7 changes. Now it's obvious there is a shortfall, even though the income and the expenses are pretty much in balance. A budget would say this should work, but the spending plan shows that it's not going to work and there is still some work to be done on it. So John and Mary have decided to solve this problem, they need to get some extra money. $1,000 as the opening balance is not enough. So they've decided to take some of their prized possessions, maybe their old record collection, their cassettes, whatever it might be, and they're going to sell them on Gumtree, or maybe have a garage sale. And they bring in $350. Now that's not a great outcome, but we can add $350 to the start balance. So let's have a look at the plan. Still a lot of red, but things are starting to look a lot better. So that's change number 4. I've added the $350 to their start balance. There's still an obvious shortfall that needs to be overcome. John and Mary see that they can apply for a Centrelink benefit of an extra $80 per fortnight. So I'm going to increase their income, which is currently set to $2,029 to $2,109. Let's have a look and see what that's done. All right, we've made a massive change. Things are starting to look a lot better. That's change number 5. We've increased their income. There is still a problem, and they've decided, you know what? That camping trip that we've got scheduled for August, why don't we move it to later in the year? If we move it to October or November, that will still be okay. So I'll go to the list of transactions and move the camping trip from August, and I'm going to move it to November. So that's almost solved the problem. We still have a slight hiccup here and here. There's a $342.90 shortfall in June. So they've had a bit of a think about it and they've asked, what else can we do? They've made 6 changes, and remember I said we could fix it in 7. So what they've decided to do is they've got a savings plan. They don't ever want to be caught out with no cash reserves ever again. But they decided tough times need tough decisions. So they delay the start of their savings plan by a couple of months. And now their whole year is green. In fact, on the worst day of the year, they've still got $57 as a slight buffer to get them through. So there you go. 7 changes, and I've turned what was going to be a disaster into a beautiful plan. And they've got targets for every time something happens. They know exactly where they need to be, so if they get behind, they can do something about it early on, rather than finding out they needed to take action when it's too late. Problem solved. Why would you ever bother with doing a budget when a spending plan is what you need? There are spending planners available right now to help you put together your very own plan that will set you free from money stress. Go to findaspendingplanner.com and choose a spending planner to call and have a chat with. They can help you to not do a budget, and you will be ever so happy you didn't do one. Spending planning is a new industry, and spending planners are very excited to be doing what they do. That website again, findaspendingplanner.com. We look forward to changing your life from money stress to money success. Thanks for listening. I'm David Wright. Bye for now.